everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Bleav in Colts podcast.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen, back with Bleav in Colts with my guys Rodney McLeod and Jerraud Powers. And it's been, great weekend for anyone that's a Colts fan, in all honesty, getting the revenge on the Jacksonville Jaguars after being shut out week 2, 24-0. Oh my goodness. We were all worried about the offense, on how they were going to look. And I think we did a fantastic job. But before we get into the game, I just want to say, hey, guys, BetOnline is back and remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. As your continued source for all sports wagering info, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events like Major League Baseball, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline, where the game starts. Well, Jerraud, how are you doing, my guy? Is it going to be a little bit warmer today or not down there?
Nah, it's gonna be cold this week, man. We all geared up, ready for it. So yeah, it's gonna be cold. I actually like the cold weather. I'm a hoodie guy. I love hoodie season. So I like the cold weather. Everybody, normally has to stay in the house when it's cold. So that's my cup of tea.
Nice. Rodney, how are you dealing with this new Indiana weather, man?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to adjust to it. I got my Kleenex out a little bit, got the sniffles. The weather changed very quickly. Had to bring out, some of the larger, coats. It's that time, beanies, like Jerraud said, man, hoodie season. So all of that now, we're going to go ahead and transfer over.
As I said earlier, man, what a game. Jacksonville, Colts, Indianapolis, host Jacksonville, and blast them offensively. Blasted them. Had the second most points scored in the NFL this week with 34 points. It's not like the Chargers and Broncos game really gave them any kind of a push offensively. So, man. Jerraud, what do you think of that game on Sunday?
I know it was a revenge game type of feel, and I know the Colts, as a whole, we wanted to come out there and just have a better showing than that first game. But like I've said, in a couple pods before, man, this Jacksonville team is talented, man. They're not the same old Jacksonville. Like, you got to play some good ball to do it, and for us to come out there and to see kind of Matt Ryan get in a good rhythm, to see the offensive receivers get in a good rhythm, to see the dang running back, who we never thought that would have this type of success, I guess, going into this game, have a big game, and just see the offense clicking and, playing complementary football with the defense. That's what we've been talking about all year, just all phases trying to get on the same page to help each other out. And I think this past week, it was the first time where the offense kind of gave that defense a sigh of relief. Like, these guys are moving the ball. If we make a mistake or two, it's not going to cost us as much just because we're having some success on the ball. So it's kind of fun to see the complementary side of everything coming together. And, man, like we talked about that Thursday night win, Rodney, we knew how important that win was versus the Broncos, and it just seems like now the ball is starting to roll and we're starting to stack a couple W's, and now we can kind of worry about ourselves and just get back to just sharpening things up, because we still haven't played our best football yet, which is kind of a good thing right now considering where we're at record-wise and going forward. What do you think about, that game Sunday, and how did it feel to now have back-to-back wins in a season?
Yeah, it was a revenge game, so that's primarily what was on our minds, to be honest, is we can't come back into this locker room without victory. You know what I'm saying? Nothing is going to I guess feel right other than a win, to be honest. It's kind of like that playoff mode, that mentality, like you want a chance to get in, you have to win and keep your season alive. So man, it didn't start off the best way, man, but obviously it's the identity of this team, resilient fighters, you know what I'm saying? We're going to grind it out to the end, you know what I'm saying, and find a way just to get it done. Special teams came up big, keeping them pinned in inside the 20, man. Defensively, I know we talk about quarterback ratings and all of that, but when we looked at the film yesterday, I mean, they didn't throw the ball more than 10 yards, maybe only 5 times. So everything, the way that they tried to attack us was very like sideways screens, you know what I'm saying, getting the ball in space. And that's credit to, our D-line, and also, in the back end, maybe not feeling like they could take advantage of any, sort of deep passing and explosive plays. Obviously, we know the run game wasn't to our liking, but at the end of the day, man, we found a way to get it done. We battled, we fought hard. And the message that was given before the game was, man, you got to stand up to the bully, you know what I'm saying? And you got to go out and we reference a story that Frank told us in training camp about him and his pops. He had a bully in his neighborhood. I guess the guy beat him up or whatever. He went back to the house, told his dad. His dad said, man, look, don't come back into this house until you take care of business. And that was what Jan told us before the game. And, it started off, it looked as if it was going to have a repeat, right? Maybe 24-0 deficit again. But, we said otherwise. It's a different team than they faced, week 2. And we showed that on full display in all 3 phases yesterday.
The depth for the Indianapolis Colts defense really showed out, I think, in this game, with certain key players missing, and eight total players for the defense walked away with a tackle for loss. You yourself, the only one having 2 or more. Oh my goodness, what a game defensively when it came to making plays on the other side of the line of scrimmage. I want you to take us back to that one play where you was talking about, throwing it out to the running backs in the flat. You came up and you tagged him behind the line like a rocket out of a bottle. It was amazing. What's going through your head in that situation? What makes you realize it's time for me to jump this?
So the second series of the game, they hit us with a screen attack, and so came out in the same set, not the same necessarily people, but the same route concept. So they ran a drive 6 concept, ran a cross screen, and I think it may have been like second down. And I actually defended it well, but there was just still a little bit more space there in between the tackle and the running back. So I wasn't able to make clean up the play as I did the second time around. So the lineman ended up getting up to me, set the edge. They actually gained maybe like 15 yards on that play. So we come back 3rd and 12 now. I see the same setup, drive 6. I'm like, it's no way they're doing it again. I saw the lineman get out early, and then it was a wrap. Just pulled my trigger, man. Happened to be right behind the guy. And now Jerraud, with the rules changing, they try to you can't technically go low, right, on the lineman. And it's a fine line there. Yeah. So it was great in the position that the running back was placed in. He was like right behind the guard sheriff, and just made an amazing play. Huge play for our team, getting our offense the ball back with some time left on the clock for them to go down. Matty Ice putting together another great drive. We got 3 points, man, and that probably was a difference in the game, to be honest. One of the key plays.
Thank you for watching Jerraud Powers and I here on Bleav in Colts, part of the Bleav Podcast Network. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, and tag that notification bell so that you're notified next time we upload a video or go live. And don't forget, you can hit that little red share button. Help us out a lot with exposure and getting our stuff out to more fans. Now, let's get back to the video. I think so.
Or moments, I should say.
Man, the question I got for you, Rodney, is again, we have another close game, another hard fought game, and we're at home and we know what's on the line. We know how important this game is, especially on the last showing that we had versus this team. How was the crowd? How was the atmosphere? How was the intensity of the stadium, when things got close and we knew that it was probably going to come down to a last-minute drive and all that? Just take us back some of the emotions that you was kind of going through on the sideline, on the field, with the crowd and everything, just knowing it's another close game and we're going to have to do something to win it at the end.
Man, it felt like that playoff mentality. The fans came to support. They came to show out and give us love. And, as a defensive player, you feed off of that. And I think that's where you saw a couple times, man, emotions really started, flaring and showing just because of the moment itself, the fan base, man. It was a great atmosphere to be a part of. I mean, you love games like that. Like, we'll take some blowouts, but, man, right now, for us, it's, like I said earlier, it's a grinded out mentality. Like, we know it's going to come down probably to a couple possessions, the way our team is structured right now. And we're fine with that. We feel confident in every unit that's on the field, and that at any moment in time, whether it's the defense closing it out versus Denver or it's the offense this week going down in a 2-minute situation, throwing it up, Matty Ice to Alec Pierce, man, to seal the game. We'll take it, any type of way. And I need more of that though from our Colts, man, and that Lucas Oil Stadium. Looking forward to that when we come back in a couple weeks, I think versus the Commanders. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be another big one. Going to need a good showing.
Absolutely. Jerraud, this one, I got a question for you. So,
All right.
Going back and to your playing days, was it acceptable to give up 91% completion percentage, but only give up 165 total yards in the air?
I mean, that's how you look at it in hindsight. In hindsight, it's all about the total yards at the end of the day. I remember, I'm kind of embarrassed to even say this, Rodney. I remember we played the Broncos I want to say it was my rookie year, and Brandon Marshall broke a record for like 20 receptions or something like that. He had like 20 catches. I'm talking like every pass Kyle Orton was targeting Brandon Marshall. But when you look at the stats at the end of the game, I think he had one touch. He might not have had no touchdowns, but I want to say he had one, and he had like 100 yards total or 115 yards total. So you look at it in hindsight, like, yeah, that's a lot of catches, and you don't want your completion percent, because DBs get judged off of completion percentage, not necessarily all the time about touchdowns and this. But when you go into free agent and you want to get paid, they're going to check that completion percentage for sure. But yeah, so you don't want to give up, that type of percentage when it comes to completions. But when you look at it on the backside and you're like, all right, we gave up 90% completions, but they only had 160 yards. You'll take that all day as a secondary. Playing in an NFL game and they only give up 150, 160 passing yards when you're going to throw it 30 times, 40 times in a game. Like, you'll take that in a statistic book, but just a personal I guess a personal thing that you want to have. You don't want to have a high completion percentage against you personally, but as a team as a whole, I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at those total yards and it's where it needs to be, I mean, it is what it is. They tried to dink and donk us that whole game, and a lot of times offenses are not patient enough to do that. In this case, they kind of was, but like to Rodney said, it might have been because in the back end we were taking away the shots that they maybe had planned or maybe wanted to do. So that's just a testament to the back end at the end of the day.
Awesome. Rodney, my question to you now is, there's been a lot of question about the run game. Obviously, 5 weeks we had one of the best run defenses in the NFL, and then Jacksonville comes out and drops 230 plus. Now, the difference is between week 2 and week 6 is week 2 we couldn't get to the quarterback, right? Trevor Lawrence had the second least time to throw, average time to throw on his dropbacks. It was like 1.9 seconds, and yet the Colts still got plenty of pressures, 4 sacks, all that stuff. But we were giving up a bunch of rushing yards. What happened? What happened right there in that instance? Because a lot of people are like, were they just going after the quarterback and not thinking about, we're going to give up the run? I'm sure that's not the case, right?
Yeah.
Man, fans are hilarious. Fans are hilarious.
Yeah, like there's no way, you want to give up 250 yards on the ground. Jerraud also can appreciate that. And I think at the end of the day, they did a real good job at a couple run schemes that they had that they didn't necessarily show before, right? And that's credit to them doing their film study, how we played them the first game, maybe how we played a few teams thus far leading up to this game. So you have to credit that coaching staff. And then also, I think a lot of it just had to do with just self-inflicted, to be honest. Myself personally, had to do a better job at times and bench pressing the receiver, trying to limit the amount of space. DNs, we got to do a better job at crushing the edges a little bit to also decrease the space there. And then corners, have to crack replace. So, when you talk about the run game, man, it's a true team defense, and everybody has to do their part. Everybody has to be gap sound, and tackling has to be good. We have to make sure we fit the blocks the right way. There's a lot that goes into it. And when you have a good running team like Jacksonville, with good running backs, good offensive line, things, if you don't fit things correctly, naturally it will pop, and we don't want to put that on tape, and we understand what's coming ahead, man. A good running team in Tennessee, they're going to look at that, and it's a copy and paste type of league, right? So we got to make sure we get all of that fixed, but no way, in hell did we want, will we rather give up, 250 on the ground and then keep them 100 pass yards? Like, no, because those are still explosives. They still earn touchdowns off of that. At the end of the day, if you're running the ball effectively, at times you don't need to throw the ball right down the field, because you're getting those explosives in a different way. So we have to control that, control the line of scrimmage, which we've done a great job at. So we take pride in our run style defense, and we'll get back to the Colts way this week.
See, Lawrence, I think what fans kind of do fans realize that that players go in after every game and get graded on every piece of film there is and get corrected after every game on every mistake that they did. So when we have the problems in the run game and it looks like, the Colts defense, we wasn't paying attention to the run game today because we were trying to stop the pass. Look, as a defense, we try to stop everything. Mm-hmm. So when you go into the film the next day, literally everybody's getting coached on every gap that they're supposed to be in and the mistake, whether you fit inside or outside, whether, like Rodney said, did you bench press that receiver to close the amount of space that the running back had. It's so much that goes into the run game. It's not just like, hey, Jacksonville ran a run play to the left and it broke out and we didn't have anybody there. No, somebody was supposed to be there. So just like any other week, these guys on the other side of the ball, they get paid too. Jacksonville got a lot of guys that make a lot of money as well. So they get coached to try to scheme things up and try to do things to hurt the defense as well. But I think from a fan perspective, they got to kind of understand when you see these big, huge plays happening, it's not that the defense is not ready for the run. It's normally a guy or two that might be out of a gap or, not doing what they're supposed to do, because if one person make a mistake, it can hit. So even though you got 11 people on the field, if one guy is not where he's supposed to be and they find that guy, it can hit. It don't matter if you're the number 1 ranked run defense or the number 32 ranked run defense. If you're not where you're supposed to be, it can always hit in the NFL. So fans just got to understand, even though, stuff that happens, guys are not just out there. Like if Rodney would have said, oh, no, man, we wasn't worried about the run this week. That's why they got 250 yards. We were so worried about the pass. You would be pissed off as a fan. Like, what? Y'all went into a game not worried about the run? So it'd be kind of funny to hear some of the fans' excuses when stuff happened. But, those guys are professionals, too, on that other side. They got some damn good running backs as well. Sometimes stuff happens. Stuff happens.
Absolutely. Yeah, no one ever walks into. I mean, that's the number one thing you always walk into a game and say, "We got to stop the run." That's what you hear every
Stop the
team,
run.
every player. Stop the run. That's the first thing. And sometimes you just have an MJD day. You know what I mean, Jerraud?
Maurice Jones-Drew, baby. Goodness gracious. I do not miss those days at all.
Yeah. All right. But one good thing that you touched on, Jerraud, earlier is that this was a really, really nice game to where the offense got going. This game was not completely on the defense and special teams back finally, right? The offense was like, you know what? You're having a little bit of problems. Let us step up to the plate, and the offensive line started protecting better. The coach and the quarterback, had plays that were drawn up that were just a little bit quicker in releasing the ball. And next thing you know, the Colts put up 34 points. Jerraud, how did you feel when you saw this offense, especially from the second quarter on? From the second quarter on, they scored every drive.
Yeah, man. So I want to say it was maybe 4 pods ago. And I was like, man, maybe we need to get, certain little plays to where we can get the ball out of Matt Ryan's hand quick and use those type of plays as run, whether it's wide receiver screens, running back screens, just little quick throws that help get in the rhythm. And when I watched this game, I was like, oh, they must have been watching the pod. They must have been listening to me. But no, it felt good just because everything looked in rhythm with the offense. Didn't nothing look like, oh, here we go again. What are we doing? Everybody looked confident. The receivers was running hard routes, catching it, making plays down the field, running backs getting downhill. But it just seemed like the chemistry and everything that they've been working on since training camp, trying to work out these issues and all that. It seemed like it was a step forward with the Jacksonville game, and seemed like things are starting to come along as far as on the offensive side. The offensive line played their best game, as a unit. I felt like this game, and you saw the success we had as far as from the running back position, wide receiver position. Matt Ryan had a little bit more time. The guys just seemed confident, out there on the field, and it was just good to see. It looked like the old Indy, style offense that we've been accustomed to.
Absolutely. Rodney, I know that you don't get to see a lot of the offense when you're on the sideline because you're going through, defensive plays, but was there any play that you happened to see that the offense played that you were like, oh, hell yeah?
She'll won us the game. You know what I'm saying? Most importantly, I saw that one. I'll tell you that. No, but I mean, once you get your corrections made, like you'll definitely tap in, look up at the screen and just see how the offense is doing. But it was very evident that the up tempo offense was working, is very effective for us. It slowed down that pass rush. I think that was a big thing. And Jerraud knows, being a defender, man, when teams are going up tempo, it now, forces you, if you are a team that likes to disguise, right, you're now forced to like show your hand. Yep. It slows down that D line, especially when you talk about Matt Ryan getting the ball out quick. And the D line starts to get frustrated. They also get tired quicker, right? So you can also throw in some run games there, and O-line can get some good push. I think it was very effective, and we kept them off balance the way that, we started the game with up tempo, then we kind of went back, to our normal style, then we hit them, so I think we did a real good job at keeping them and staying ahead, of the change as well. I think that's a big thing, and getting in third and manageable. Got to talk about the 3 Ps, man. The boys stepped up huge. Pitt, Paris and Pierce. They had an incredible game. And then Matty Ice, doing what he does the best. But it was funny because on the last play, we're on the sideline, and as a defender, you're like, man, look, we're already in field goal range, man. Just run the ball a little bit, and let's just kick it. Let's get back on defense. We're going to stop them, and it's over. And E.J. Speed actually was like, man, I'm taking a one-on-one shot to Pierce. Like, that's what I'm doing if I'm the OC. And next thing you know, we see them in gun, drop back, throw the ball up, man. And Pierce caught that catch, man. The stadium erupted. And then, the rest was history. But credit to the offense, man. They came up huge for us.
Wow. So E.J. Speed is going to go from
he's
being a
future
linebacker.
OC.
Yeah, future OC. All right.
He told me if I'm a head coach one day, man, go ahead, call him. You know what I'm saying? Give him a op. Give him a op.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Guys, if you're listening to this, please don't forget to download, subscribe, check us out on YouTube as well. And until next time, thanks for watching this breakdown of the Indianapolis Colts defeating the Jacksonville Jaguars. And as usual, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Rodney McLeod and Jerraud Powers. This was Bleav in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. Go Colts.
Do you believe?